Our mission is just to help everyone to seal in their heart that God is true.
We're actually doing something different today. We're actually doing a spontaneous testimony, but I love how God does that. Mark and April Smiley is with me to share whatever you feel at liberty to share today, and so enjoy.
The testimony I want to share about is the birth of our daughter, Savannah Smiley. I had a very difficult pregnancy with her. I wasn't able to hold down hardly any food. I was very sick throughout the majority of the pregnancy. And at this stage, I had already been taken out of work, and they wanted me basically to rest. During the evening hours, I went through another round of pain. It was a sharp pain underneath my rib cage that radiated to my back. And I called out to him, but in the midst of calling out to him, I heard the Lord say to me, clear as day, have faith, my child. And then Mark comes and, he asked me that I took any medication, and I had not taken any medication for pain. And then I hear in my spirit again, the Lord says to me, the baby is coming. The baby is coming. I kept hearing that. And so I started saying that to Mark. Now, granted, in February, I was 8.5 weeks away from our due date.
So at the time I was studying for medical boards, and everything that I was learning, I was seeing in the hospital because I was in residency. And for my wife to tell me, at about 32 weeks that the baby is coming, it brought all of that information full circle. But I didn't see what she saw. I didn't see all the things medically that said the baby was coming. So it was shocking to hear that at that time.
So the very next day, I went in for what was now a weekly appointment, weekly non-stress appointment. A new doctor walked in, and I'd never seen him before, and he basically tells me, we are going to transfer you to the hospital for labor and delivery. And when he said that, a light bulb went off, and I was like, labor and delivery? Like, the baby is coming. The Lord just told me that yesterday. And I was like, can you tell my husband that? So had him call, Mark, and he explained everything to him. And I remember after, the doctor left, I sat in the room and I cried out. I was alone. It was dark. And I was basically at the end of my rope. I knew I could not do this alone. And I gave everything I had over to the Lord. I was like, I can't do this. I'm in so much pain. I was like, you have to take it, Lord. I was like, I can't hold on to this. And this peace that you were speaking about earlier, I can't explain it to this day, came over me, and all of my fears, everything that I was, dealing with, it just ceased to exist for me. Mark comes, picks me up, we go to the hospital, and they're trying to do all these tests to determine what happened. I went from non-existent preeclampsia to full-blown HELP syndrome, which is the rarest form of preeclampsia.
And what that means is your body starts to break down platelets, and you are in a condition where you're at high risk of bleeding. We needed to go to the operating room because the baby needed to be delivered. And so that means that you're going to be on the table, and there's going to be some bleeding. But if your body is already in a condition where it says, well, I'm going to bleed more, that means you're going to bleed and die on the table. And so that's where we were. Now, if we didn't have the baby, then April's life is at risk, and the baby's life is at risk. So you can't go to the operating room, and you also cannot not go to the operating room.
When the doctors were explaining stuff, I was in this place of just peace. And I know everybody here has probably seen or heard about Charlie Brown. So, the teacher starts talking, you hear womp, womp, womp. That's basically what I heard when the doctor started talking. So I'm laying in the bed, and they're all frantic, going back and forth, trying to check my blood work. And I look over at Mark, and Mark's just like, I can see concern in his face. But I was in this like state of just like happiness and peace and just relief.
Dr. Gay is he's an OBGYN, and he's a man of faith. And I remember we were talking, back and forth through this whole time. And, we were saying, is it time? When do we go? And I still remember to today when he steps back in the room, and he just looked like a different guy. Mm. He comes back and he said, as you know, nothing looks right here about when to go, when not to go. In terms of, if you look at the blood work, if you look at all the signs and everything that we both know, she can't stay here, but she can't go. But he said, God told me it's time for us to go to the operating room. And so in that moment, I believed and I trusted him, releasing my wife into that operating room. There was fear. I was concerned. But at the end of the day, when God says to go, you go. Because there's never a better decision than that, no matter what happens.
And so we went to the operating room, and what was so amazing was the Lord orchestrated. He brought so many people of faith, and they prayed over me. The entire surgical staff there, they prayed and prayed, and they took such great care of me.
The opportunity to be in the operating room during this, and you could not expect for a better surgery to happen. Nothing, no significant bleeding. Baby was fine, mother is fine. And to know that God said it's time for me to care for you, and to be a part of watching him doing this for my family. I mean, it's just it brought my faith to another level where I can't deny who he is. I can't deny what he can do. And no matter how I feel, no matter what's going on, that can't change. He's God, he's good, and he will always be that way.
What the Lord has shown us in everything is that he reminded us of what he has already done. And I want to encourage you all today because, like the pastor said today, you can get lost in the wilderness, but you might need to change your perspective, to get a little bit higher, to see what God sees, to know what he has said so that you know what he is saying. And so this morning, like I said, the Lord reminded me, and he reminded me what he did for us, with our daughter Savannah. It's just amazing how he just remains faithful and that he will see you through. So no matter what you're walking through, he is there and he sees you and he knows what is going on. He has a plan for you. And so he took care of me then, and he's been taking care of me ever since. And I know he's going to take care of me continuously. And so,
like, to be a part of something like that is just a part of what God's wanting to do in all of our lives. And because the reality of it is we all need healing. We come through struggle, we come through difficulties, we come through pain. But on the other side of it, the purpose of the pain, if there was no purpose, then the pain would be of no value. But God uses our pain to produce a purpose.
Yeah.
And so it's a wonderful thing.
Yeah. So Romans 8:18 says, the sufferings of this present time cannot be compared to the glory that shall be revealed in us. If you think about eternity, there's nothing but glory. There's nothing but just an amazing place with God.
If you have a testimony, you need to contact Mark and April, and I'm sure on their website they'll be able to do that. Mm-hmm. But not only that, we encourage you to come, because the reality of it is that we each bring a measure of God. Mm-hmm. And the more the people are for this, then the more powerful it will be. And so I just encourage everybody that sees their testimony, join us next month.
Thank you. Bye. Please follow us on www.touchyourtestimony.org or find us on social media.